Good morning, good afternoon, good evening or good night, wherever you are in the world. Thanks for looking, really thanks for watching. I appreciate people looking in. It's Thursday the 20th of July. I'm doing this in West Wales, United Kingdom, and it's about 7:45 in the morning, okay? And our time here at the moment is BST +1, or you could call that UTC or GMT +1 because it's British summertime. It's our sort of daylight saving time, as it were. So the moon this morning is in Gemini. She is at this precise moment 13.9% full. She's on her way down, waning, new moon coming up very soon. She is trine Jupiter, so this is a real good day for generosity, benevolence, even you could say good luck gets involved with this. But as always, it's a case of you get out what you put in. So try and be generous yourself in your dealings with other people, and actually in your dealings with yourself. It's good to be generous to yourself sometimes, and that's really worth doing, really worth thinking about today, and that will make for better collaborations. Things go better between people when you take that sort of positive attitude. So at this moment, as I say, she's 13.9% down, 13.9% full. She's waning, she's crescent, and we are now only 3 days away from the new moon. And at new moon, the moon isn't visible in the sky, and it's not a great time to actually start launching things and doing things, but it is a really good time to plan things, and that kind of starts now as we're coming up to the new moon. Because then once you know what you want to do, once you know where you're going, once you've really got your own ideas in, then you can start drawing down the cosmic wisdom to help you. And by about 2 or 3 days after new moon, then the help is there, she's visible in the sky, and we can crack on with things, and all is good, or at least should be. Okay, we've also got Mercury retrograde coming up. Now, I posted one of these videos somewhere yesterday, and someone said I should not blame the planets and I should not blame Mercury. Well, I don't. It's not about blaming these things at all. The troubles we have in our lives come from this world that we live in. They come from the people around us, and I'm afraid they come from ourselves an awful lot of the time. It's not a case of blaming the planets. It's very simply that as we look for guidance, as we try to get through this crazy life in this world that seems to have gone completely mad, we have to take some personal responsibility for it, you know, and then the truth starts coming in. So we've got Mercury retrograde coming up. There's a foreshadow to Mercury retrograde when we start noticing things happening, and the whole period goes on for a couple of months, but the actual time of Mercury retrograde is going to be the 12th and the 13th of August. But, I'll put it down somewhere, at the moment, as I've been saying the last couple of days, the Sun is coming up to conjunct Mars, and just right now, sort of 22nd onwards really, and the energy for that is actually building up now because we're at the 20th. People are going to get their buttons pushed, people are going to be made angry, people are going to be trying their best to be positive and get on with things, and something's going to come along and knock people down. It doesn't happen to absolutely everybody. It's just an interesting life lesson. I'm not blaming Mercury, it's the kind of thing that happens when Mercury is retrograde, okay? These retrograde times can be quite painful, but they're very helpful as a learning experience. They get you in tune with certain blind spots that you might have had in your awareness. For one that happened to me a few Mercury retrogrades ago was that my car absolutely expired. I mean, there was no way of fixing it after that, and I didn't have the money for another car, and I had to stop doing the job I was doing and change everything because of this car. But the changes that happened after that were really good, and I actually still sometimes, when I'm trying to puzzle out life's problems, I think back to that time, and there were certain little lessons in there that were very helpful. Difficult at the time, but it certainly, I would say, it's made my life a lot better in the long term. Okay, so I'm going to touch wood because I maybe don't want my life making that much better all in one go, but I always appreciate it. Okay, let's have a look at the laws of physics and what they're up to today. Spaceweather.com is what I'm looking at. The sun is blank at the moment, on the face of it anyway, that's facing us. There are no visible sunspots. There was an absolutely giant sunspot, number AR2665, which at one point had a coronal hole kind of twice the size of Earth, and I think it actually got bigger than that. That was massive, and it put out all these solar winds, which as they brushed past the planet a couple of days later, as they brushed past the Earth, they tend to cause geomagnetic storms, which are quite difficult in a spiritual sense as well as in a physical sense. And in fact, they might have been responsible for the mad weather that's coming in at the moment. But that's the physical knock-on effect from it. In reality, that sunspot has disappeared and there's no more coming out of it at the moment. And there's even been sunspot AR2666, there's a number to conjure with, which did pretty much nothing, just kind of drifted across the surface and disappeared. So, gosh, it's not all bad. In fact, it's not really bad at all. It's all good stuff, all good learning. But solar flares and solar winds, which they cause, can affect Earth quite dramatically. Around the turn of the last century, I'm afraid I forget the date, 1900 and something, there was an absolutely massive sunspot and a giant solar flare, and it wiped out all the wired telegraphy, the old telegraph, where you could tap a button and a lever would move at the other end and someone would work out what it meant and you could send messages that way. All of that packed up. It sort of did for the early telephone experiments, but most of our world in those days was run without this kind of electrical technology, so it wasn't too bad. If we got a sunspot like that now, I shudder to think what would happen. It would knacker our hospitals, all our IT. You wouldn't be able to come on YouTube and watch me. Can you imagine the horror of that? It might be rather good, actually. So these things do affect us, and I'm having a chuckle about it, right? Because I've learned that when these things that seem negative come in, they're always teaching something positive. So there's always something to be cheerful about. And my gosh, you want to be cheerful in this life if you possibly can. Okay, that is going to be it for today then, because my voice is getting all gravelly now. So I'll leave you in peace. Thanks very much for having a look at my Astro weather channel. Do leave me a comment in the box underneath if you'd like to, because it's really good to have a conversation about this. I learned none of this by myself, and I'll make no progress by myself, so let me know what you think, even if you think it's rubbish. Okay, and if you'd like to give me a like and subscribe, that'd be great as well. I don't expect you to like and subscribe if you think it's rubbish, but if it's got anything good about it at all, give me a like and subscribe, because it helps me make better videos if I know what people think and how people feel about it, and it helps me get the word out. I really like to get the word out as much as possible. Okay, have a beautiful day and I'll see you tomorrow.